Hello everybody, CVH here, and in today's video we're going to be playing some Midrange Crusader on the ladder. Not the normal kind of Crusader deck to see on the ladder. Once a powerful deck that could be observed roaming the high ranks of ladder in large quantities, Midrange Crusader has since been hunted to near extinction by the impact of aggro Crusaders and token Crusaders appearing in larger numbers over recent seasons. Honestly though, I think the deck is still pretty powerful, and I haven't really tested this version too much, but I do like where I have the build right now. It's pretty standard, pretty straightforward. It's packing a whopping 17 Prophecies, so I'm pretty excited about its matchups against aggressive decks and defensive decks alike. We can use our powerful mid to late game to pressure those slow decks, and we can use our Prophecy count, Dawnstar healers, and a pretty solid amount of good 2-drops. As you can see here, we're playing 14 2-cost creatures, and we can use those to fight for the board very hard early against aggro. It's sort of a linear deck, and yes, it has been outclassed by aggro Crusader and token Crusader, mostly because Ulfric's Housecrawler was released and people said to themselves, hey, this card's pretty good, I like drawing a lot of cards, let's play it in aggro. But I think this could be a decent version of Crusader if you're looking for something a bit different. And obviously Control Crusader is playable as well, but that's sort of its own thing. But if you want an aggressive Crusader that's a bit different and might take your opponent by surprise by how much mid to late game you're playing, like Blood Dragons and Jarls and Belligerent Giants, this could be the deck for you, or something close to it. Again, I haven't tested this version of the deck too much, but there are probably a lot of different ways to play it. Of course, I wouldn't fault anyone for making a couple substitutions. I think Withered Hand Cultist is really good right now, so I am playing this card, and I'm not playing Crusader's Assaults in addition to the Javelins because of the Withered Hand Cultists. But there are a lot of different ways you could take this deck. Tyr is fine, Garnag's fine, tons of cards are fine. But let's jam this on the ladder and see if we can't take some wins. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, stay subscribed for more Legends content, follow my stream in the description, and I'll see you next time. Okay, we've got a spell sword. It could be any type of spell sword here. Could be token, could be midrange, could be control.
Hail, friend.
We have a pretty solid curve here. We can go Cleric of Kine into Withered Hand Cultist into Reeve into Blood Dragon, if we still want to play Blood Dragon on turn 5, and it's a pretty long ways away. Looks like we are up against what I would assume would be token spell swords. Let's try to fight for that lane a little bit.
Bless us, Kine. May we serve you with every word.
You mess with the settings here a little bit. I think I might have the audio a little bit too loud for me.
This day will be mine.
Alright. I think I will preemptively go ahead and start trading. Withered Hand Cultist is good against cards like Scouting Patrol and Reinforcements, but not super good against the deck otherwise. Against most Spellsword decks, it will be hitting Edict of Azura at least. That is a lot of stuff. Oh, and he has another one.
There's always a plan.
Did not want the heal.
Confound you.
Well, that's the problem, right? If he has any more creatures, playing Reeve over there is just kind of suicidal because the 5/5 Siege Catapult will straight up kill it. I could play Hive Defender. If he has another creature, at least it'll take down the Bruma. Unless that creature's a Resolute Ally, in which case I'll probably lose the game. If it hits. I think I do have to just keep fighting for the board, then play Blood Dragon next turn, which could help me out against these things. If he does have a handful of non-creatures, at least one of them is probably going to take care of the Hive Defender anyway, like that. He has a creature too. Oh my god.
Your orders, your orders. You won't spoil my plan.
A Prophecy would have been most helpful, as they usually are. Like that would have been amazing, would have helped me kill one of these things at least, but I think we just have to play Phalanx.
We'll never give ground.
If he does have to double trade, the good thing about that is he might not be able to reactivate his other Siege Catapult this turn, so I might take less damage, which would be very awesome at this point of the game.
I hear and obey. Acknowledged.
You won't spoil my plan. At the ready. There's a plan. There's always a plan.
am ready to
I fully realize these are not the trades we were hoping to be making, but I think we just have to not take damage. Lethal is a very real possibility if we didn't play the Bruma. 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 was staring me down if he can play any creature to activate the catapult. But now we have a guard. I'd like to try to keep this alive for at least one more turn, get some more life gain. I think that's important. Would almost definitely die if I had played it over there. Hopefully it pays off. It's unclear whether or not it will here. He's taking very good trades. And honestly, the fact that he's healing doesn't seem that crazy, but it could be very obnoxious if I did have a Dawnstar healer and I was ready to start trying to pressure and gain some of that life back in a large amount. Well, let's see. We have a guard on the left, and then we can play Earthbone Spinner as well to contest, and that can kill this, so I can continue healing. Since I can't actually kill anything in this lane, I guess that's the best I can do. Both of these trade with any of these, so that's good.
The forest will not suffer your presence.
Back up to 13 again. And these trades are only even. Please don't have Divine Fervor. That'd be horrible. Bone Colossus at this point is pretty horrible too. That's kind of one of the reasons you'd play a deck like this, I think. If you guys want to see some more token spell sword, I did a video on this deck about 2 or 3 weeks ago on the channel. It's up there.
So much work yet to do.
Oh, I wasn't playing that, I don't think. And I am dead to it. Man, 0 prophecies. Wait, never mind, we had a prophecy. Sorry. I may have spoken too soon. But how in the world are we going to stabilize? It's actually pretty possible here. We can just bounce that thing and heal and hit. I don't know why I thought I was just dead. I had 2 outs there. Interestingly enough, he could have gone the other way and bypassed the last rune, so I would only have had 1 chance at a prophecy, so that might have been the critical game-losing mistake. We hope. And I don't normally hope for bad things to happen to my opponent, but I totally do. Okay, decision time. Well, we could definitely smack for 3 here.
You won't foil my plan.
Do we want to jab and trade, or do we want to play Belligerent Giant?
The day is mine.
Tawako watches over me.
And Bruma has healed for quite a bit, so I'm glad I put it in the right lane all those turns ago.
I've no time for this.
Alright, that's probably one of the best things he could have had there for me. Because I don't need to be too scared of it unless he top decks and Imperial Reinforcements. That could definitely happen. Or Bone Colossus, I suppose.
May we serve you with every word.
Well, Jarl's not active. That much we know. So, Belligerent Giant heals me for 1. I can't play anything with it. It heals me for 1 and removes 2 from the board. Or I could just heal for 2, which puts me 1 life lower than I would be otherwise, but I get to develop 2 things and save the giant for whatever he plays next turn.
Omen for you.
Although I could maximize the heal if I just bounce this, he won't be able to actually trade in, and that's kind of appealing too. But then what's my plan after that? I go up to 5, he replays that, doesn't deal any damage. I need to draw more Hive Defenders and Phalanx Exemplars.
The day is mine.
You won't foil my
But I think I do this, now that I'm thinking about it. Because Bruma, at the moment, is my only way to heal. So I don't want him to get a clean trade there. I can at least heal up to 7 next turn with the Bruma. This is where Dawnstar Healer is just amazing.
will be mine.
Of course.
Bless us kind. May we serve you with every
And I can just trade with the Catapult too, either way. That's very good. Yeah, I think I just hold back on the attacks for now. Play the safe guard, play a safe Blood Dragon, which can help me fight for the board still. Bruma Profiteer is just doing all kinds of work right now. And this is the point where Spellsword doesn't really have a whole lot of ways to add damage from hand. Like here, an Edict works. Divine Fervor and Dawnbreaker kind of add damage, but not so much here. Wouldn't actually push any to face. So as long as Hive Defender sticks, I'm feeling really good about this.
The Dark Brotherhood is a pox, and I shall cure it.
Well, it's a Hoffinger. Pretty tempting, right?
We fight for all. You won't foil my plan.
Do want to see what I get there. Okay, so that keeps it out of range of Windkeep's Spellsword, which is not irrelevant. East March probably goes over here.
We'll hold no matter what.
Oh, actually, Yeah. Well, I guess I can just sack the East March. It's like, if I draw exactly Rift Thane or Morgul, I would rather have it in the left so I could play it there. But anything else, I'd rather have it in the right so it trades next turn. But that's pretty awkward. Let's see. If I do that, he gets a double kill there. Or a double trade there. Actually, let's just Hotfinger this and see what we get. Not super relevant.
The day is mine.
I'm like 99% sure that I hit that before the timer ran out. I'd be more upset if I thought it was relevant, but I'm not playing it in the right, so it doesn't actually guard against anything this turn. If the extra 2 damage matters, that'll be a bummer. Actually, it is 1 extra life, which could matter if he had the perfect cards, but it's too late. Actually, I don't think it ever matters, because he can't afford Edict plus... I guess Edict plus Resolute Ally would have gotten me.
There's a plan.
If I hadn't gotten that 1 extra point of life gain. So I do have lethal, theoretically.
The day is mine.
I guess playing another one of these is fine. I guess you probably play this too, just in case we don't have lethal. Get the heal, make sure it's a guard.
A dark omen for you.
2 shots of Bone Bow or something. Yeah, Shield Breaker works as well. Wow, Shield Breaker and Bone Bow? Jesus.
You won't spoil my plan.
That was pretty funny. Sorry about the little slip up there with the whole not playing the Rift Thane thing. And before someone watches this on mute and they're like, oh, why did you not play Rift Thane? You had 3 Magicka left. What am I not seeing? Well, it's a good question. Got a Battle Mage this time. Again, I usually assume aggro. Could be Merrick though, could be mid-range. Could even be something totally different. I think that's fine. Ooh, Protector and the Cultist is pretty solid if it's Merrick. And we have the Dawn Star to heal up in case he's more aggressive. Yeah, the curve looks pretty strong. Protector, Cultist, Hive Defender. Good across a variety of matchups. Good across pretty much all matchups, honestly.
We'll see how they like someone who fights back.
And I definitely think against an aggro deck, as we were up against last time, we do want to try to fight for the board. Here's a question, do we want to use Circle Initiate to trade instead? Could use Protector, try to save some damage. Yeah, it's probably fine, just use the Protector here.
We'll see how they like someone who fights back.
Protector, I mean, if Circle Initiate trades next turn, we take an additional 3, but we can save Protector for when we have to answer something else. But this deck actually has a solid amount of guards, so I'm not super worried about needing the Protector. We could use this when we can actually be offensive with it. So at this point, like, Daggerfall makes me think Merrick Battle Mage. But honestly, I'm still not entirely sure. I think I will continue to contest, because it could be aggro with Daggerfalls. I think that's totally fine as well.
Tawaka watches over me.
This is the fight for the board play, because he can trade in and play Tome, and it'll be bigger than my 3 attack guy, but we can just play Hive Defender then. And it would cost him his 3rd ring charge this turn. So I don't think he'll be doing that. He could just play a 3-cost Firebolt or something. Yeah, that definitely means aggro, right? I'm pretty sure.
We stand united.
That's really powerful. That throws a huge wrench in my plans, because now he's going to be able to Tome up and trade over the Hive Defender with a 6/4. Which is really not okay, honestly. It's really not okay. But I guess it's I guess this is what has to be done. Double Orc Clan Captain. I wasn't expecting that, even if it was aggro. You don't typically see that in aggro Battle Mage with the Prophecies. Just not seeing it being too good.
Come at me.
This is when we wish we had Skaven Pyromancer, or at least like a Sharpshooter Scout.
Come at
Or a Prophecy. Prophecy would help. Hey!
close ranks.
There we
but
go.
nothing through.
Only the one thing to buff, so that will be the play. Another Circle Initiate. We could make the obvious trade on the largest thing, but I think we could maybe make the case to Cleric this up, trade over one of the clan captains, and play a Circle Initiate too.
Bless us, Kai. Honor and may we serve you with every word.
I'm ready to join the
He's out of Tomes of Alteration, at least that we know of. So all the trades that are presented on board are going to be even trades, and I think that's better for me than him.
Come at me. I'm ready for anything.
That one is slightly worse for me. And hey, we know he's not the super heavy Prophecy version too, besides the Protectors. And obviously the obvious key cards like Lightning Bolt are probably in there. But we don't have to be worried about a 30 Prophecy deck, I don't think. With the Battle Rage and the Dagger Falls and the Raiders and the Orc Clan Captains. He's going and he's pushing some damage. Rift Thane, oh, such a versatile card. Such a good versatile card. This is kind of an annoying turn though. Because there's like one Magicka efficient play. It's not even really one Magicka efficient play. There's one almost Magicka efficient play that I kind of want to make because Dawnstar can test the 2-1 pretty well. I guess I can play this left and this right. I guess that's also fine. I ideally want to keep Dawnstar alive. It will be the primary target of any removal he has. Right now, I think I just want something with more than 2 health to trade over the Relentless Raider favorably.
We stand united.
trolls take you.
The 3rd Orc Clan Captain.
I used to be an adventurer like you.
It's not a Prophecy, but it is a very helpful card to have. As is that. Actually, that is pretty solid.
For the rift.
Just making sure there's no reason to do anything else. Hive Defender Cleric is the play amongst every play in my hand that has the potential to keep this alive for multiple turns.
Bless us, Kai.
So that is the play I'm going to go with.
Serve you with every word.
Immediately killing the Raider, and ideally he has to double trade in there. And then hopefully we'll have pretty smooth sailing to regaining some of this lost life. So far, 2 pretty fast matchups. Interesting to see how this deck handles slower decks too. Belligerent Giant's probably worst case scenario, or among them. I do have answers. And I think he might be pressured into killing Dawnstar. Maybe not, maybe not. He just wants to go crazy. How crazy is he going here? I mean, honestly, even this isn't that bad. I do have Javelin and a Bruma. Which still leaves me dead to double Lightning Bolt. He's playing Chargers too. I think I just have to double trade. It's kind of sad. I really wish I could play Hive Defender and then I could trade there. Maybe even break a rune if I felt like gaining some life, or at least set up for it and have another guard against Chargers. I'm dead to a couple of combinations of cards here for sure. That's not great, but
There's a plan.
For
There's
the
always
warrior.
a plan.
For the rift.
deal a little bit of chip damage in case I draw another Dawnstar or something. Not a small chance for dead here. I mean, he only has 3 cards, and he does need 2 damage dealing cards from hand, so Lightning Bolts and Chargers. That's not lethal, but it is super annoying. If he doesn't play anything else, it's really good for me. Obviously. When the aggro decks play less cards, it's easier to control the board. Obvious life lessons.
Careful there, friend.
Is he gonna ward up the big one? No.
For the rift.
Hive Defender Dawnstar Circle Initiate will heal me to 9, and then I'll gain another 3, so I'll be at 12. Javelin Hive Defender only heals me to 7, but I don't have to give him a card, and the Jarl's gone. Part of me thinks I might need to save the Jav for something a bit more pressing, but he does have a really good trade on the Hive. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and Jav now. And of course, the real upside to this play is that I don't give him a card. I still don't think I'm dead to a whole lot. I'm still dead to double Lightning Bolt. But a lot of the potential lethals are off the table because I'm not at 6 anymore. And I do have 2 guards, so I'm not dead to like Lightning Bolt Battle Rage. I could be dead here if he has Battle Mace or Bolts.
It's a word contest.
Ooh, so he does have Bolt and he's ready to kill me. Fortunately for me! I have the Prophecy to stay at 5 instead of 4. He's probably not too happy about that, but I'm still pretty pressured here. Wow, what a series of close calls, man. You know he's got the Bolt. Just know it. Throughout the worthy contest and everything. He's like, well, guards don't stop the Bolt. Removal doesn't stop the Bolt. Except it kinda does, because it would have removed the Raider there. So a Javelin would have stopped the Bolt, ironically. He did in fact have the bolts. Shocker. 12 damage? If I want to send it all to face. I'll break 3 runes and heal me for 9, putting me at 10. Meaning he'll be 3 off. If I use Midrange Giant, he'll be 6 off. I'll actually heal for 2 more there too, so he'll be 8 off. And that sounds pretty good if he doesn't get a Prophecy. If he does, then I guess I'm just gonna lose, but I'm definitely not gonna double trade into Wordcraft. That doesn't make any sense. That's just way worse than healing for extra points of damage. If I could full clear, we'd be talking about something like playing around items, but
I've got you covered. You won't foil my plan.
well, that's not ideal.
We'll see how they like someone who
Let's see. How much of a big deal is that? So if I attacked over it, it's a fine trade. I can go for another 6, so I'll be up to 8, 9, and he'll be 5 off. Not as much as before, but one of his cards will be this.
Behold my power.
There really haven't been that many Prophecies.
We'll see how they like someone who fights back.
Alright, so now he'll be 2 off, which again is not ideal. I honestly think I bounce this. It's more expensive, I mean... Probably just bounce this. Well, if he has 2 damage, I lose. And that's way more likely than I thought it was going to be, because I didn't think I'd hit 2 Prophecies in a row, given the density of Prophecies we'd seen. And the top deck feels bad. Well, it was a valiant effort, I think. We did get kind of lucky there, to dodge lethal in the first place, so we can't just expect to win after that.
Take you.
You know, honestly, with the way this curve looks, keeping Cloud Rest doesn't seem the craziest. I think I'm gonna do it. If it's another mid-rangey deck, probably pays off. Second only to Hive Defender as far as things I'd really like to play on turn 4. Again, no ring, but again, the curve looks fine so far. If it's Control Monk, then our cultists are just gonna put in so much work that we probably don't even need anything else. But I doubt it. I haven't seen a whole lot of that deck recently.
They make it too easy.
Okay.
There's a plan. There's always a plan.
Do we think he's gonna move it over? I mean, if he does, at least Brumo survives.
There are ill winds this day.
He does indeed, so now it's a 4-4, which is pretty obnoxious. Well, that is one of the few answers to it.
You won't foil my plan.
Tawaka watches over me.
So I guess that'll be our 4-drop of choice. Come on, buff it up a little bit more. And of course, it's almost a certainty that he breaks a rune this turn. Sanctuary Pet, interesting.
You will die, Shadeskin.
I'm feeling fairly forced into just taking even trades across the board. Is there anything else? I'm just so limited by the fact that I have to Earthbone that down if I want to answer it at all.
The forest will not suffer.
It'd be nice to like try to do something over here to make the trades less horrible, but at the very least he only has 4 damage on board now. Sucks that that's an even trade and that's an even trade. It'll probably make me do that one. Maybe I'll just take the opportunity to take over the field lane again.
enough.
Phalanx does seem better than Blood Dragon here by a smidge. I'd like to not take more
The
damage.
day is mine.
Never give ground.
Hopefully we can't give any ground. Hopefully we don't, rather. Wow, his deck is still 52 cards. My goodness. Wait.
Another
61?
finds it useful to use her
And the unique legendary right on time. That sounds about right.
Had enough.
Well, that's good at least. So we should probably play this over here, buff that, trade up. Yeah.
Close ranks. Let nothing through.
I'll probably let that die and develop the Cloud Rest to keep my guard alive in the Shadow Lane. I'll still have a pretty substantial field lane presence after this turn. I'll have a 2/2 guard instead of leaving that alive at a 5/1. Yeah.
There's a plan. There's always a
A
plan.
little distraction might prove useful.
Because no matter which one Morkel traded with, it would die in that lane this turn.
Is mine.
For what it's worth, I'm just going to mention this. I mention this like an awful lot, but I do not advise ever playing over 50 cards, especially if you're an aggressive deck that needs to draw your curve. I mean, even if you're not an aggressive deck, you need to draw your answers, and just diluting that and not drawing your ideal curve every game, or just that little percentage less, that can definitely completely change the tides of a game. We do have 14 damage. That's enough to 2-turn him. Mastered only kills one thing.
Honor and blood. They'll never get the best of us.
Behold my power.
You won't foil my plan.
It is an aggressively statted Rift Vein this time. We could have chosen to give it guard, but with 17 life left against an opponent with 8 Magicka, potentially with the Ringer, I guess 9 with the Contract, which I guess I could have made worse with these, but I'd much rather play these two. But either way, not scared of dying from 17 here. If we had hit Prophecies, we would have gotten Septum Guardsmans from the Phalanx, which helps us defend. A single Septum Guardsman can take the entire strength of a Cliff Racer. And he'll die, but you might not. That's what counts. Dawn's Wrath. In the Daring Cut Purse Dune Smuggler deck. I didn't play around it, but I mean, you might be saying to yourself, wow, interesting tech, but this is exactly why it's not very good in these kind of decks, right? Sure, he removes my threats, and he's back in square one. He can't really pressure me if he's spending his entire turn removing things. Doesn't seem like what I would want that deck to be doing if I were him. No lethal draws. Morcall doesn't quite get there. You could play Vigilante in this deck if you wanted more reach into Real Vigilante. But I do think I'm just going to go in for 10 here.
They'll never get the best of us. They'll never get the best of us.
You know, and honestly, just double Cultist is probably fine. I don't need the cards really right now. It's tempting to play East March, though. East March with it and 2-drop is probably better.
We'll hold
Okay.
no matter what.
Good.
Tawaka watches over.
So maybe there was a case for doing it first, but I did think I was going to go double Cultists. But yeah, we could have East Marched into Hoffinger. And I'm pretty sure I'd play Hoffinger there.
Awaits you.
Always draw first, except if you're confused about what you're gonna do.
A little distraction might prove useful.
Let's play it out now as the largest thing I can play. It one-shots him. Hoffinger number 1 should, no, Withered End number 1 should negate any actions that I really think need to be negated here. If he Dawn's Wraths for 10, he still dies because he can't do anything else with it. That's assuming he has another Dawn's Wrath in the deck and his hand, but either way, there are no outs that I can think of here. Giant Snake plus a 4-cost Night Terror member to shackle both lanes, I guess. Withered End Cultist would have played around that one, but it's kind of a gross play anyway. Yeah, I was sort of tunnel visioning there on double Cultist, and if we play double Cultist, we definitely want to attack first, but then I was like, East March is possibly a little bit better there, and we don't really need the 2 Cultists.
Behold my power.
But you could have played double Cultist there. You could even go Jarl there. I wouldn't fault you for doing that. There's pros and cons to all of them.